Hello students, welcome to my class. I am Dr. Arunima Borah from Discipline of Education, KK Handic State Open University. And today I'll discuss about your paper Teacher Education, that is code PZED S303 and the unit 3, and this is part 2. And in previous classes we have discussed about the training program or teacher education, that was pre-service teacher education program, and the remaining part of this unit we'll discuss today, that is in-service teacher education program. So let's start the class. Today's presentation outline is concept of in-service teacher education, objectives of in-service teacher education, need and importance of in-service teacher education programs, and types and organization of teacher education programs for teachers. So this will be our presentation outline for this class. So first of all, we'll discuss about concept of teacher education or concept of in-service teacher education. Concept of teacher education we have already discussed in part 1. Although I am repeating here because to give the boost to the teaching profession, because education is a subject that takes into consideration of the total human aspects of growth and development. Therefore, teacher is the responsible member of the education system. Therefore, teacher have to be up to date. Teacher should have some skills. Teacher needs some strategies so that the educational aims, objectives can be fulfilled. So the training program, the education program is very much urgent requirement for the teachers. Therefore, the teacher education concept has been immersed into the education system. Now come to the point about in-service teacher education program. In the previous classes we have discussed that pre-service teacher education program, which is dealing with the upcoming teachers. It means those persons that are going to be involved in the teaching profession, they have to be trained. They need some minimum requirement to deal with the students in the classroom situation. Therefore, there have some training programs are organized for those upcoming teachers. This is pre-service teacher education program that we have already discussed in our previous class. And in-service teacher education program. Here, I'd like to mention one of the definition that was given by Rabindranath Tagore. Tagore has mentioned that the teacher can never truly teach unless he is still learning himself. A lamp can never light another lamp unless it continues to burn its flames. So it has its deep meaning regarding the teachers, because a teacher has to deal with many more students at a time in the classroom situation. So every students are differ from each other, because we have already known in the psychological paper that from the psychological point of view, every child is differ from each other. So they have different aptitude, they have different attitudes, they have different kind of attention, they have different kind of abilities, qualities, inborn capacities, capabilities, etc., etc. Therefore, teacher have to deal with them at a time in the classroom situation for a limited time. So in this regard, teacher have to, according to the situation, depending on the situation, teacher have to create some new ideas And most importantly, the teacher has to up to date it. teacher has to be up to date in all the time, because he has to provide up to date information, every information to the learners every time, because situation is changed, our scenario is changed, our social situation is changed, everything has been changed. And say for example, the technological knowledge has been incorporated with the education system, psychological, sociological knowledge is also incorporated with the education system. Therefore, a teacher have to know every kind of information, knowledge. Teacher have to acquire every kind of skills, every kind of strategies. Teacher should have the knowledge about every kind of methodologies, methods that have to be emerged recently in the education system. Therefore, to be up to date, to be upgraded, this is the utmost responsibility on the part of the teacher, along with his another duties and responsibilities. Therefore, the in-service teacher education program will help in such situation to the teachers to deal with the every kind of problem, every kind of situation in the teaching learning process. So the idea of the in-service teacher education has emerged to take care of the need of sort of provision which may make the teachers up to date with respect to the subject of teaching, methods, techniques, innovative ideas in each sphere of his or her academic life. So this is the concept, and in the SLM you will get different definition provided by different thinkers, different educationists according to their viewpoints regarding the in-service teacher education program. So kindly go through all those definitions and you will understand about the concept of in-service teacher education program. Objectives of teacher education. This is our next topic of discussion. We have already know what is in-service teacher education programs. In the teaching profession, in the midst of teaching profession, some courses, some training programs are designed for retraining, for reskilling and updating the knowledge of the teacher. So such program is called in-service teacher education program. There have some courses, there have some activities that are designed so that every teacher may be up to date, every teacher can acquire or retrain or updating, and they can able to produce human resource, they can able to produce manpower in for our entire society, for our entire world. So such training program are designed, and every teacher, this is their academic some responsibility, so that they go through such program and they can make themselves up to date, and so that they can adjust with the changing scenario of the education system, and according to the changing scenario of the education system they can able to fulfill or they can able to realize those aims and activities of the system of education. So this is the concept of in-service teacher education program in brief. Now let's come to the next point, that is objectives of teacher education, in-service teacher education programs. So first objective, to provide opportunity to teachers to engage and improve their knowledge. We have already discussed in the concept that for improving the knowledge, to engage themselves for their self-development, this is some activities, some courses are designed for teachers. So in-service teacher education program has its main objective, so that it will able to help the teacher to engage, to improve their knowledge. Then another objective, that is to motivate for self-study, independent thinking and creativity, to develop creative ideas, to develop independent thinking, and for self-study. This is very important part of the teachers, because they have the in-depth knowledge of a particular subject that he or she is going to teach in the classroom situation. in the teaching learning process. So self-study is very much important, and it is one of the objectives of in-service teacher education program to motivate all the teachers for self-study, for independent thinking, for creativity, because new creation, new things have to be developed to deal with every kind of students in the teaching learning process, depending on the situation, depending on the subject matter. And next objectives, to prepare the teachers to face upcoming challenges, because teaching is not a cup of tea, it's a very tough job. There are many more challenges may come in front of the teachers according to the different scenario, according to the different changes of the education system, of the social system. So for facing any kind of challenges, the teacher has to ready mentally, physically, they have to be ready. Therefore, in-service teacher education is one kind of booster which able to prepare the teachers to face upcoming challenges in the education system. And another objective, that is to broaden the mental outlook of the teachers. Mentally they have to develop their self. Broad mentality, they have to develop themselves. So in-service teacher education program helps in this matter also. Then to help to gain additional qualification and develop their special talents. So to gain some additional qualification, that are some of the requirement of some particular courses on the part of the teachers. In this situation, in such circumstances, in-service teacher education program will help the teacher. Then another objective, that is to raise the professional standard, because professionally teacher have to develop some ethics, develop some standard, develop some quality, because to provide quality education, teacher must have some quality first of all. To raise the professional quality, to raise the professional standard, in-service teacher education program is very much important. Then another objective, that is to reform the old practices, because I have already mentioned that education system is changed according to the social circumstances, because society is changed according to the demand of the society, according to the expectations of the society. The education system, some practices, old practices in the education system have to be changed. The changes must required in some circumstances. Therefore, the reform all those old practices, teacher have to be mentally ready. Therefore, in-service teacher education provides some reformation on the part of the teacher, so that they can able to develop quality to reform those old practices which are useless in the present existing situation. And the another objective, that is to give specialized training, because to deal with the teaching profession, some specialization may be needed in some circumstances. In some specialization quality that have to be developed by the teachers, in-service teacher education program provide that opportunity, so that some special skills, special training can gain by the teacher community. Then another point, that is need and importance of in-service teacher education program. Why teacher education, in-service teacher education program is important, we have already known, because from the concept, from the aims and objectives, already we have know about the importance of in-service teacher education in the service period of a teacher, because a teacher has to serve minimum 30 years, 25 to 30 years in his profession. In such 25 to 30 years in the profession, in this time there are many changes may come into the education process, into the education system. Say for example, in the policy 1986 new education policy, national education policy, there have many more changes was occurred in that particular period after the Sarva Shiksha Abhijan has emerged into our education system. And recently new education policy NEP 2020 has emerged in our education system. And while NEP 2020 has been incorporated, when NEP 2020 will be implemented in our future days, in upcoming days there are many more changes has to be occurred in the education system. So in this way the education is changed according to the need, according to the demand, according to the expectation of the social scenario. So teacher has to deal with every kind of changes, and according to the change teacher has to introduce themselves with the many more new things. So in this regard, I want to mention the definition given by University Education Commission on the need and importance of in-service teacher education program. It has mentioned that it is extraordinary that our school teachers learn all of whatever subject they teach before reaching the age of 24 or 25, and then all their further education is left to experiences, which is another name of stagnation. We must realize that experiment before reaching its fullness, and the teachers to keep alive and fresh become a learner from time to time. So the importance on in-service education, NEP 2020 has its also focused on ensure quality teachers at all levels of school education. Quality teachers, if we need to produce quality education, so we need first of all quality teachers. We have to develop quality of teachers. So while teachers quality will be developed, then automatically quality of education, manpower productions will be developed. So it is very important, the in-service teacher education program, to develop self-confidence in teachers. It is the in-service teacher education program is like, we can say that it's like driving force behind keeping up to date every time to all the teachers. Then it also helpful, it is very important to enhance effectiveness, and it also increase quality of education, and most importantly to change the attitude and skills on the part of the teachers. The in-service teacher education program is very much important. So learners, we have already known about the concept of in-service teacher education program, about the aims and objectives of teacher education program, and about the need and importance of in-service teacher education programs. And I think from my class you are able to understand a bit concept about in-service teacher education program after pre-service teacher education program. And for details information in this regard, you may go through your self-learning material and other some reference book that are prescribed in your self-learning material. So it will be better for you after or watching my class, you can go through all those materials, SLM or other reference books. Then you will gain further information about the in-service teacher education program. Then let's come to the last point of today's discussion, that is types of pre and in-service teacher education programs and organization. First of all, in the different stages of our education, our learners have their different stages of development. Learners have their different kind of characteristics, different kind of some developmental characteristics. So from pre-primary up to higher education program, every teacher has to be trained differently, because the requirement, the skill, the strategies, the methods that are required in the pre-primary stage, it will be definitely differ from those higher stages of education. So every teachers from pre-primary to higher stage, every teacher has its importance, and for every teacher, in-service, pre-service training is maybe differ, but it is very important. The pre-primary teachers, there have some Montessori, kindergarten, nursery teacher education, some program they have to be trained, and mainly NCT is responsible for such type of teacher education programs, and recently 2 years teacher education program for 10 plus 2 teachers, there have some teacher education program has been organized. And for primary teachers, for teachers that are teaching in the primary level, that DIET, District Institute of Education and Training, it is responsible for providing training to the teachers in the different time. Then for secondary education teachers, but the teachers, those are dealing with the secondary stage of education. So National Council Teacher Education, NCTE, is providing different kind of teacher education programs time to time. That may be in the form of workshop, in the form of training, in the form of seminar. NCTE is providing the teacher education programs, and mainly B.Ed and DLED. These are some teacher education programs, and NEP 2020 has also recommended the integrated B.Ed program for giving secondary level teachers. So these are kind of teacher education programs that are trying to provide different organizations like DIET, NCT, NCERT, National Education some commission. So NCERT also providing the different education, teacher education, in-service, pre-service teacher education programs. And in the higher educational institution, the teacher has to perform some in-service teacher education program that has been recommended by UGC, that seminar, refresher courses, orientation program, workshop, conference. These are kind of in-service teacher education programs that, but through the help of such teacher education program, every teacher in the higher educational institution, every teacher may develop themselves, may go through such courses and gain different kind of new knowledge that can be implemented in the classroom situation for the benefit of the students. So in this regard, I want to mention lines that was mentioned by Kothari Commission, mainly the destiny of a nation is being shaped in her classroom. So to shape the nation, teacher will have to be professional, and their training programs must be characterized by appropriate duration, extended interaction, and sufficient rigor. So we have learned from this class, or we have discussed in the class about in-service teacher education program, and through the discussion, maybe I think the learners will realize how much it is important to build the nation, because I have already mentioned that quality of teachers, it give the quality of education. Therefore, in-service teacher, whatever pre-service teacher education program, and after that, after entering into the teaching profession, in-service teacher education program, this is very much important part of the education system. So for you may go through the unit, and you will get in details in your SLM, and you may also go through the different reference book that are given in your SLM section. So thank you, learners. Thank you for watching.